Ever wanted to learn how to be handy, fix things, or create them from scratch? Aim to learn how to do a lot of things from various fields? Today's guest will speak on these experiences and what they want to do in the future. The Humanities Mass Communications Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now join our host, Felipe, to meet the next new director.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people involved in this program are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talents for the first time today. The guests you're about to meet on this show are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes, working hard, working to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student has written and directed 4 different projects. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves and the productions they've created, and give you the chance to get to know them and enjoy some of the works they have done during the semester. Our guest today is a construction worker who enjoys working with his friends and aspires to join the Air Force. I'd like you to meet today's guest, Brian. Mr. Brian Bott. So tell us about yourself. Where is your family from? What do you do for work? And what are your hobbies?
Well, my family's from Veneto in northern Italy, which is a famous city that's there is Venice. And I got to visit my aunts and my great aunts out there who still live out there with my family. And my they live on a farm in a more rural area. And a local landmark is, you can see it now, it's a Soave Castle, and it's a famous winery. They make really famous white wine from Italy there. And we live in the area around there. And growing up, I played baseball pretty much all my life, and I got to travel around the U.S. And when I was 16, I got to play in the World Series for Babe Ruth there. And here, I like to build computers in my spare time, and I do it for my friends and stuff. That's a computer I built for myself in my house, and I really enjoy doing that. It's a lot of fun for me. And for my job, I'm a construction worker. I do in-home remodeling. And here we're rebuilding a dock on Chapin and Stanford. And I do usually it's a lot of bathrooms, kitchens, sometimes decking, stuff like that. Tearing down walls, shaping rooms to be however the person wants them to be. And all these photos are from this summer, from working for this summer. That's how I got to pay for classes and stuff this semester. And it was really enjoyable. I got to learn how to do a lot of things I didn't know how to do, and use a lot of tools I didn't know how to use. And that's a kitchen that we were about to remodel right there. I took a little pose there, and there it is afterwards. That one was a lot of fun. We spent about a week there. This one, they wanted a whole new closet space that didn't exist before, and I went in there with my coworker, and we redid the whole room. And it's real fun. Like, you get to do a lot of new things. And that's my dog, Molly. She had stolen my milkshake, and when she took her snout out of it, she had all the vanilla ice cream all over her face. So that was pretty funny.
Oh, that's funny. I consider you are really good and really creative. Could you tell us why you decided to take this TV production course?
I was really interested in how films are made. I'm kind of a big film buff, and I really like looking at like behind the scenes stuff and everything like that. And I was really interested in directing and figuring out like what makes people like Martin Scorsese tick, and like what kind of decisions they have to make and things that they have to know. And I wanted to also learn how to take better photos and what it means to use a camera more efficiently. as you saw in the pictures, I was taking a lot of before and after photos. Those go on the website for the business that I work for, and I wanted to be able to take more interesting photos so that I could make the website look better and get more business for the company.
So could you tell us some of the most useful things that you have learned so far in this course?
Well, using Avid for sure. I didn't know how to do that at all. I had an interest in learning how to edit videos because I do eventually want to do videos, maybe like something like a time lapse of the construction on site or something that could be pretty interesting. And I definitely wanted to learn how to do that. And I also, as I said, I wanted to learn how to use the camera better. And then also, I wanted to learn how to use cool techniques and how to make photos look interesting, like emotional lines and like lines of grace that I could use. Like maybe there was a countertop that kind of like had like a nice C shape or something that I could take from a certain angle that makes the kitchen really pop or something like that. So that was really why I got into the class and why I enjoyed it the most.
That's very, very interesting. Could you tell us about the process of creating your projects, the talk, fall foliage, the orange project, and the student studies?
Well, the conversation first was the first time we actually really got our hands on the camera and had like, you know, the freedom to make the decisions that we were going to make in terms of when we were going to shoot and everything and where. And I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was very different than what I was expecting, like initially coming into the class, but it was pretty fun, especially collaborating with students and changing who's behind the camera, who's acting in the scene, using the scripts that we had. And for this project, this was the student studies. We found like this nice little area that we could film in the school and kind of out of the way and didn't have much foot traffic. And we got to for this one, we got to actually draw up the diagrams for where we were going to put the cameras and everything, and that was a lot of fun. We didn't get to do that in the first one, so that was fun. And then this is fall foliage, which I shot all in my neighborhood. I walked around a few blocks in my neighborhood, and I really noticed things in my neighborhood that I don't usually notice because you're always busy going places or what have you. And I learned more about what makes photos good even when they're more simple looking, like where to put things in pictures and what makes videos more interesting and everything. And this is my orange project, which my friend and classmate Max and I shot, and I tried to go for more of like a mix of an Indiana Jones kind of James Bond feel, where he's trying to like get the orange and then people are going to be after him and everything. And that was fun, where we got to come up with the script and the shots and like everything that was going to go into everything from scratch. So that was a lot of fun.
Nice. Tell us a little bit more of the project that you think is the best.
My favorite project definitely was the fall foliage project. I definitely enjoyed going out into seeing the scenery and everything, and I got to meet a bunch of my neighbors that they were coming out asking me, "What are you using the camera? What is that? What are you doing? Are you recording our house or something?" I'm like, "No, I'm just looking at the scenery." And yeah, I was surprised at all the colors that you just don't notice just because you're too busy and everything. But the things that I really like to do were the slow zooms. Especially that was really fun editing them together. I really liked the shift focus shots where I got really up close on like maybe a tree that had turned like a maroon color and then had some trees that were still green in the background and transitioning between them. And I did a really nice poor man's dissolve that I was pretty proud of, that was looking at this really cool tree that my neighbor has. And here I have converging lines of going down the hill of my street, and I was really lucky. I caught a squirrel coming in off of a tree right at the perfect time, and I was pretty happy about that.
Nice. So you've mentioned a variety of things you've learned in the course, but which is the most important skill that you've learned, and what would you like to do with it? How will you put it to use?
Well, I'm a journalism major, so this is all going to be very useful for me in terms of if I'm ever going to pursue that further as a career and what have you. But generally, I just like to learn new things and kind of try to be more of like a Renaissance man kind of thing. And I'm going to get use out of the Avid for sure, the editing, because I definitely want to do more of that, even if it's fun videos for my my own enjoyment or anything like that. But for sure, with my work, I'm going to use the camera and how to take better photos for my job.
Very interesting. Well, today you got to meet someone who shared with us his life and currently a little of where he wants to go. He hopes to apply what he has learned here at NCC and at various experiences to get him into a career he will enjoy. We would like to thank Brian for joining us today. Thank you for joining us today, Brian.
No problem.
So we hope you have enjoyed meeting one of the television's future directors, and we hope you will continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you and have a great day. Very good, man. I like you. Definitely gonna use the camera for your work.
This has been The New Directors with your host, Felipe, directed by Gabe. I'm your announcer, Madeline Vos. The New Directors is a Norwalk Community College student production.
Dream team.
Harsh conditions just to enter somewhere to stand in a small, cramped area for a couple more hours sound, where people behind you are pushing you into a barricade, slowly cutting off your air circulation, while you have people in front of you hurling their bodies against you, with open kicks and fists to the face. What would you call that? Most agree to call it insane, but there's a select chosen few who call it fun. Most people look at going to concerts and being front row as a hobby and a lifestyle choice. Today's guest is one of the select few who will open up and talk about this alternative lifestyle choice and hobby that she's involved in. The Humanities Mass Communication Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now join our host, Max Grabler, to meet the new next director.